Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Showcase again. Back again for some more independent books for you guys. New reviews. I got a few more books for you guys for my trying to get through my indie stash before getting back to this large Marvel stash that I'm looking at right now, like over several months of back issues. I promise I'm gonna get those out to you guys. I promise. But I wanted to tackle more of my indie stuff, and I'm doing it right here. Last time we did 10 books, and here we're doing, it's gonna be 9 here. But I'll do it again. So we got books from indie companies, from Black Box Comics, Dynamite, IDW, Image, IPI, Mad Cow, Massive, and Valiant. So let's get to it, shall we? So we're gonna kick this off with Black Box Comics, issue number 1 of Deadly Trail. This is a very cool supernatural western, which I'm all for. I dig a western, but I dig a that's got supernatural based in it. And the writers of this, I want to make sure I get their names right. I don't want to butcher these names. The writer is Carmen Gusako. I hope I'm saying that. If I butchered, I apologize. And artwork is done by Rodrigo Roca. Pretty much this is a really cool revenge storyline. Think of a lot of classic Clint Eastwood movies like Unforgiven mixed with a lot of supernatural vibes. That's pretty much what this is. The artwork in this is really great. It gives off the dark vibes of who this character that most people know is Clay, but he's dead. He's dead, and like you can see him right here. There's like a nice, good shot of him right here. Look at that darkness to that color. That's really cool. But it's a revenge story, and we'll get more into like why he is this, why he's back, things like that. But it is a revenge story, and it's really, really good, and I really enjoyed this. The first issue, I'm reading it, continue to read it. It's fun. It's really fun. That was my air freshener. That just went off. Sorry about that. Let's move on to Dynamite. And we got 2 books from Dynamite. And the first book is Dynamite's first issue of Johnny Quest. Joe Casey. I've met Joe Casey. Great guy. This is the first issue of the new Johnny Quest series. It's really cool. I'm reading this, and all I was hearing the Johnny Quest theme in my dun 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 dun. That's all I was hearing. I was even hearing the classic voices from every one of them: Johnny, Haji, Benton, and Race, and Bandit. Can't forget about Bandit. I've always been a fan of Johnny Quest. Whether it was the classic series from the New Adventures of Johnny Quest from the 80s, and even to the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, that like the reboot one that they did, and I love that. That was cool. This brings it back to the original series. So basically, the Quest family, Johnny and the gang, are returned back home, and they realize something is off. They return back to their home, and they're just like, something's off. Something is weird. Something's going on. What is going on? It's almost like they're not in the right time. And they're just searching their island, and things like that. And eventually, you got somebody else that's watching them. And I'm like, okay, who's this? I'm like, who's watching them? And then, of course, they start getting attacked. And more importantly, Johnny discovers something very, very scary. he discovers graves. 3 graves of Haji, Race, and his father. And they also go into when they died. They show Race and they mainly only show Race and Benton's and they actually show like when when they died, like so Race, or Roger, because that's Race's real name, Roger Bannon. They show it like born 1932, dies 1989. Benton Quest, born 1927, dies 2004. And Johnny and Haji are like, this can't be, what's going on? And then they realize, Dr. Quest realizes that they're not just, they've gone ahead in time. They're in the future. Something happened in the future. And what's really interesting is Johnny meets somebody that, and if you know time travel, you're not supposed to meet a certain person, and Johnny meets his older self. And he's like, Dad, he looks familiar, doesn't he? And basically they tell him, and he tells them what happened a little bit, and also that an ancient enemy is being resurrected. And when I saw who it was, I was not surprised. I'm like, perfect, makes sense. I'm not gonna spoil who that is, but it was fun. The artwork by Sebastian Prezit was pretty good, but this was just a fun read. I really enjoyed the first issue of Johnny Quest. I have the others, but yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And we move on to Thundercats Chitara. This is a mini-series that focuses on Chitara, and this was very interesting because it's revolving around before Thundera was destroyed. So we see Chitara with Jaga and the other Thundercats and things like that. In this, it's written by Sue Lee. Sue Lee does the writing. Domenico Carbone is the artist. So in this book, we see what Chitara is, and she's great. You would think what Chitara would be, before, and you see her talk about what then Thundera meant to her and what it's like. It was beautiful. Everybody tried to get along as well. The cities was blooming. Businesses were great. And we get to see. They talk about. She talks about Thundrain. All the different resources that they had, and of course Thundranium being one of them. And then of course they go on to talk about. She goes on to talk about what Lionel meant to her. Lionel meant to her because she knew Lionel when he was a boy, and you see her treating him like her own son. Like it was like, oh, that's cute. It's really cool, and you get to see the Sword of Omen, and you get to see her and Jaga talking about the war before, and how she has, and we get to see Tigra when he was younger, and her, and she's pushing Tigra away, like you could tell, like, because Jaga even mentioned, he's like, why do you never let him advance, like, and I was like, oh boy, they doing it here too. This brought back bad memory. I'm like, here it would be okay because she's not using Lionel like she did in fuck that one. but no, everybody like treats her like, like Lady Chitara, and she's like, good day, things like that. And we also here you see her with Lionel, and you got Snarf, almost like being a nursemaid. And what was really cool, what I really enjoyed about it was you got to see Claudius, Lionel's dad, and here he is right here. You get to see him right there. It's cool. And what's even cooler is you get to see some of the other Thunder. Look, there's Bengali, there's Linkso, Pumira, all of them up in there. That was cool. I was loving that. And you really get to see how much she really loved Lionel, and you get to see her training with Panthro and people like that, which is great. But what's really interesting is something that really kind of made me like, oh, they're doing that in this? Okay. Basically, the book ends with Chitara in sleeping. She's going to sleep, and all of a sudden she has like almost like a premonition of the destruction of Thundera, and she wakes up. And so I was like, no, they didn't go there. I'm like, okay, all right, they're going there with that. I like this. Basically, doing the development of Chitara's sixth sense. Remember in the series, Chitara had a sixth sense that would warn her. Like she could like almost see in the future. It was cool. Here they're developing it. I was like, okay, I like this. That was good. That was very, very good. Very good indeed. I enjoyed that. Some of my favorite parts about that was definitely how just Chitara explaining how much she really loves Lionel. Like I said, she looks at him and she was like, it's not like a big sister. It's almost like a motherly love. And it's almost like, and they even like, Jaggi even says to her like, you're the closest thing to a mother he's gotten, because they have never shown Lionel's mother, like who his mother was. They always showed his father, but never his mom. So it was cool. As a Thundercat fan, you'll like it. We move on to the next issue of Jason Aaron's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is issue number 2, and this issue focuses on my favorite turtle, Michelangelo. Mikey is, a lot of it is really interesting. So Mikey is now in Japan, and Mikey he's like a celebrity over there. Like he does movies and things like that, and has like these bedazzled nunchucks, and he talks about like how he hasn't really used nunchucks in years, like real ones. Like here he's on a movie set and he clocks a guy with it. He's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then the guy's like, it's okay, Michael, that's fake. And he's like almost he has to remember. He's like, I've always used real ones. And he goes into detail about what it's like to use nunchucks, and it's really cool. And you could see like a lot of his celebrity vibes that he has. He's you think he feels it, but not. He's in deep down inside, he misses his brothers. He misses them. But there's also, we do see some more of what happened between them, like a falling out. There was a falling out, but he's at like this fancy restaurant, and at one point he's like, he even says, he's like, this isn't a great meal. He's like, I'm just saying all this just to, please the chef. What a great meal. And then we see what his definition is a great meal, with his brothers eating pizza. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then we see that what happened with Raph is now starting to happen with somebody comes and attacks him, and Mikey has to get back to being what he is, and we see him break out these bedazzled nunchucks. I'll show you what they look like. Here they are. Like he breaks out these bedazzled nunchucks, like they're like got diamonds and stuff, and he fights off these people, and then all of a sudden Raphael shows up and is like, Mikey, Mikey, we have to get out of here. And Mikey turns around and bam, decks his brother. I'm like, oh, he hit him like and you can see that they are not cool. Mikey is not cool with Raph. And it ends with them looking like they're gonna fight each other. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? I am intrigued. I've been more intrigued with this, like this falling out they had. The next issue, issue 3, is about Leonardo. But yeah, that was interesting. So I will get to that soon as well. That was great though. Hangnail. Next up, we move to Image Comics. And we move to Knights versus Samurai. I had to get this. You guys know me. I'm a big samurai nut. Fuck Knights. I'm more of a samurai guy. And this just caught my attention. David Das. I'm a butcher it if I apologize. David Das Malachin does the writing and artwork by Fedi Malay. He does it. Basically, this focuses on a knight called Sir John, and he's like a dragon slayer. You know, everybody loves him, and he's dragon slayer. And then eventually, people get word that some of his people are missing. They're lost at sea. And so Sir John, he takes a group of men to go look for these comrades. And over the course, you see them interact in the water, they interact, and people are telling them these barbarians slaughtered, these demonic barbarians slaughtered them. Because that's what Sir John, he's getting messages from people, so they go off to travel to find them, and they meet krakens, or here they are fighting a sea monster or a kraken. It was really and eventually they end up where the land is, and they see the bodies of something. They run in some traps, and eventually they run into the samurai. This was fun. This was really fun. It does make me wonder how this gonna really go, because I got the other issues. I just haven't read them yet. So, but I'm glad I picked this up. This is fun. This is real fun. Knights versus Samurai. Next book we go to is IPI Comics, and that is issue 0 of The Human Fly. Classic character. The Human Fly is, like it says, the return of the wildest hero ever, because he's real. The Human Fly is actually a stuntman, but he was real. He actually, in the end of the book, you see real pictures of him. I think he was from the 70s or so, but he was a stuntman. But in this, he works for Canada. He's a Canadian, which is cool as well. So, and you kind of get the sense of it because look at the colors. But I remember the Human Fly. I remember Marvel having a license for a while, and there've been some other people who've had the license. So he's moved around, but in the end, it's really cool. You see, he's a stuntman, but he's also a superhero. He's a hero at times. And in this, he's battling terrorists and things like that have come after the Prime Minister, and it was really cool. It was fun. It was fun indeed. The artwork in this, which is done by, there was several artists, and their names are, I'm not even going to try to, I don't want to butcher these names, but there are a lot of different, there was one part where the Human Fly was in Montreal. And then of course they got some other stories. There's like different stories, but it was really cool. It was fun, and like I said, you got real footage. Like in the back of the book, he was, like I said, he was a real person, and you could see like these are some of his. But overall, it was fun. The writing, the pacing of it was a little off sometimes. I was like, okay, all right, where are we going with this? And then it goes here, and then I was like, okay. But overall, it was fun. It was fun indeed. And we move on to Cullen Bunn and Chris Batista, Carlos Lopez, Buddy Bidon, Gatchaman 3. This is issue number 3. I've reviewed issue number 2 and 1. So his right here is I guess you could say a penultimate issue in a sense. So the team they stop Galator, and they stop his assassins, and they decide to take a chance by having June, the Swan, go undercover. She goes undercover and joins back up with, Galator and his legions. She takes the chance. So while she's undercover, a lot of them are really like, they're scared. They're like, she could get. What if something happens? Like they're so negative, and they're not trying to like think positive. But eventually, yes, she does get discovered. June does get discovered because some of the people, the person she's disguised as, some people are like asking her questions, like, and June has to kind of come up with answers, and she knew. She's like, I fucked up. Okay, and so she knew what was going to happen. But that's one side of it. While she is now being chased, she's in the lion's den, all alone. She doesn't have any backup, while the rest of the team, want to come aid her, but then the professor tells her you got trouble somewhere else. So it's like, okay, who do we go to? June tells them, don't worry about me, go protect the people. And it's a do or die situation. But this was fun. This was really fun. But I was hoping June would last longer, because her disguise didn't last. It lasted maybe like 3 or 4 pages. I was like, damn, that's it. I was like, oh man, because I knew it. I was like, once the girl said, how's this, and then and I was like, oh, this is a test, and I was like, yep, I was right. So it was really messed up. Next up, we go to Massive Comics, also mixed with Mask Republican Comics, the Luchaverse. This is a book that talks about all luchadors, and the first issue is got Rey Mysterio and Tina Balas Jr. I hope I'm saying that one there. Everybody knows Rey Mysterio, and this was cool because it's all about luchadors. If you know Lucha Libre, it's like taking all those great characters, because the next issue got the Lucha Brothers in it. So, and they're like, what if they were heroes and stuff? And that's kind of what this is. Because when you think about luchadors, they kind of are heroes, superheroes too, especially in Mexico, where Lucha Libre. Lucha Libre is probably one of the oldest forms of art, of wrestling. So it's really cool. And Ray's in this. I was like, oh, Ray, look at Ray. So in the first story with Ray, he's in the jungles of, I think he's in Colombia or Argentina. He's in the Amazon, and he's with his team, and they're looking for this mask that's supposed to have supernatural abilities to it. And they're being attacked by these jaguar people and things like that. And his men are like, Ray, why we come here? Like, it's funny, it's goofy at the same time, but it's really cool, just seeing Rey Mysterio, one of the greats, you know, just be who he is. And here he is like doing hurricane runners to like these Jaguar people. It's cool. And we also get to see, they bring up like, you know, they bring up like Ray's past, or kind of like his story past. Like, here you go, like the first Ray Mysterio, like, and things like that. And it was really cool. And he's learning, all the different techniques and things like that. It was really cool. And eventually, you know, they discover the mask, and Ray puts it on. He actually puts on the mask. He puts on the mask, and he is bestowed with different abilities. Like, there's one part, it makes him jump. Here, you can see it right here. Like, kind of remind me like Brave Star, like Leaper, Ghost, Speedster, Behemoth. So it gives him, and every time when he's glowing, so when he's glowing green, he's super fast. If he glows red, he's super strong. And if he's pink, he could jump higher, and that was fun. And then of course we move on to the next story, which involves in Tine Balas. I hope I'm saying, if I butcher, my apologies. And he was it talks about he was from the 70s, but it was fun. It was real fun, and you see him dealing with demons in Sin City, in Las Vegas, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun to read, and just fun to see, that they're taking the luchadors of old and new and current, and putting them in this universe where they're practically superheroes and stuff. I really enjoyed that very much. It was really fun. Like I said, the next issue will deal with the Lucha Brothers, and Solar and Super Astro. So it's really cool. It's really cool. Ray Phoenix, and so that's gonna be cool to see. Lucha. Yeah. So this was fun. This was fun indeed. I want to give thanks to the writers, Ivan Plaza and Marcos Lopez, and the artwork done by Ben Harvey, and also Diego Simon for the different artwork. So this was fun. This was really fun, really good. If you're a fan, I say check this out. And last but not least, we move on to Valiant Comics, and we're moving on to Ninjak versus Roku. This is the first issue. This is still on they're on this road to resurgence of the Valiant universe. Valiant now they're under Alien books as well. This is written by AJ Apadu, and Emilino Corina does the artwork. Ninjak has always been one of my favorite Valiant characters. Former MI6 agent. Now he's like he has his own agency, but he also is like a ninja. And there's different versions, like Ninjak. There's Ninjak Ninjak. There's different, like it's like 007 in a sense. Here, Ninjak is kind of reluctantly has to team up with his ex-lover. This is his ex-girlfriend. And Roku is think Medusa, because she can use her hair. But also think Medusa and Elektra, in a sense, because she was resurrected. She died. Ninjak blames himself for her death, because he always talks. He's like, I wish I never met her. Like, I wish I didn't fall in love with her, and got her killed. And then they resurrected her, and she became this assassin, And like I said, her hair is her hair, like you can see here, look, she can make her hair into like a scorpion's, like, and she use it. But they're on the trail of trying to figure out who their opposition are, but they run into each other at the same time. And Ninjak understands, like, look, I can handle her for a short, but over time, I'm still only human, and I'm good, but I ain't that good. I'm good, but over time, my body's gonna say this, and she's either gonna kill him or not. And there's many points where you see it, like she's ready to kill him, and he's like, look, we need to talk. Let's talk. Stop. And she don't want to hear it. She's like, I don't care about you. I don't want. No, she doesn't know who he is, but she doesn't like any agencies. She don't, especially anyone. And even when he tells her, like, look, I don't work for MI6 anymore, but he says I have my own agency, and she's like, same. I don't care. Like, she's like, I don't care. It's different name, but same thing. Like, it's very interesting. But with that being said, it was interesting because they come to a compromise. Like, okay, I'll trust you. But the question is, how long? Because it is called Ninjak versus Roku. So we'll see. But outside of that, it was fun. It was fun. And the sneak peek of Bloodshot Unleashed Reloaded is actually cool too. And I'm looking forward to that too. Bloodshot is another one of my favorite. Another favorite Valiant character. People who I do get asked, like, who's your favorite Valiant characters? My favorite Valiant character, my top 5 are Ninjak, Bloodshot, the Eternal Warrior, Exo Man of War, and the Shadow Man. Like, those are my top 5. But yeah, outside of that, guys, hope you enjoyed this. These are just more indie books that I think you may want to pick up. Turtles is going great. Like I said, I'm not that behind on Turtles. I got maybe 2 issues, 3 and 4. 4 came out last week or so. But I want to know, what was this falling out? What happened to have them really, like, at each other? Like, that last scene of Mikey and Raph looking like they were about to kill each other. I'm like, and just seeing Mikey just ball the fist and wham, and throw a haymaker and knock the shit out of Raph was like, whoa, he is pissed. When have we ever seen Mikey pissed? He's pissed. So, yeah. The Chitara miniseries is great. I know I got to read the other ones of that. Gatchaman is just doing great. Mad Cave got some good books. I know they about to put out a Flash Gordon. I'm gonna probably get that in trade.